On this episode, NSU recently had a rumor spreading regarding the well-known piano at the Don Taft University Center. The Broward community came together here on campus to support the annual Gilda's Race for Hope. Undefeated NSU women's soccer team updates us on what to expect from them this season. I'm Pablo Carrillo.
And I'm Alvarado. Welcome back, Sharks.
First up in the NSU community, there was a rumor that the piano at the University Center would be removed. Our reporter Madison Casper took a closer look on the matter.
A rumor was quickly making its way around Nova Southeastern University campus that the piano in the Don Taft University Center would be removed and replaced by a tech store. NSU sophomore Angelo Florum did not like this, causing him to almost start a petition.
Like the music majors come to practice on the piano instead of practicing in their practice rooms, right? And I know a few people that have played the piano just for fun and got me interested into it. So I think it's pretty important that they keep it because people like it and there really is no reason to remove it.
Many students expressed the sense of community the piano brings to NSU.
It's just something to bring students together. That's what I would highlight, yeah.
First of all, it's beautiful. Hearing all the pianists playing, it always calms me down. And I love playing for everyone too, so it's just the best way to just de-stress and just have beautiful music playing when you're walking in the UC.
I always come to the piano just to hear the music being played, and I met a lot of people through their connections of just sitting at the piano.
After students started an uproar, Dr. Eddie, Associate Dean of Student Affairs, got to the bottom of the rumor.
To see if, Miss Ayana can share more because she's the director of, I think, design and construction. So I decided to reach out to her just to find out, being in student affairs, I need to see through this whole thing. So reached out to her and she said that, very early stage, but she believed it is a misunderstanding. There was no plan to remove the piano. There was a work order to remove a piano on the 3rd floor of the PVA, not the first floor.
Dr. Eddie shares that faculty understands that students would not be happy about the piano being removed.
And then I did have a chance to talk to my supervisor, Dr. Brad Williams, who is the Senior Vice President of Enrollment Management and Student Affairs, just to share an update and update this. And he said he understands as well that students will not, support removing the piano where it is right now.
The rumor has since been debunked. Although there is still a possibility of a tech store being added, the piano will not be replaced. I'm Madison Casper with Mako TV.
Thank you, Madison. It is flu season. What can students do to prevent and treat it? Our reporter Madison sits down with Dr. Artie Raja to discuss.
Welcome to the Health Update. I'm Madison Casper. Here with me is Dr. Artie Raja, Mako Media's health advisor. Welcome, Dr. Raja.
It's a pleasure to be here, Madison. Thank you.
Our topic today is the spread of influenza. Dr. Raja, what is influenza?
So influenza is a virus that causes a respiratory disease. And it's a virus that seems to be present pretty much throughout the world. And in the United States, we seem to deal with this virus or infections caused by the virus usually around this time of the year. The fall pretty much is when the virus kind of makes its rounds in the population.
So what are the symptoms and how do they differ from common cold symptoms?
Sure, that's a good question. So usually any of these respiratory viral infections tend to have very similar looking symptoms. Just like you mentioned, it can be a lot like the common cold. But the issue with influenza is it can look a lot like the common cold, but then it's also, the individual will also have a lot of cough, cold, runny nose, sore throat, all the whole usual stuff. Along with that, unfortunately, if someone is immunocompromised, they don't have a very strong immune system, then influenza can be a lot more problematic, wherein the virus can cause an infection in the lungs. And if that happens, then the situation becomes more serious for the patient or the individual.
So how can students, especially those that live on campus and in dorms, prevent getting the flu?
Sure. The basic way to just prevent getting the flu is to get vaccinated against the flu virus. And we're lucky, we have good vaccines designed against influenza. So ideally, if everyone just gets vaccinated, that's the best form of protection against getting an infection. Short of that, if you didn't get vaccinated, then you are going to hopefully try to keep yourself distant, but not obviously that's a difficult thing to do, but protect yourself, not be in very crowded situations, or if you know someone who is sick or they're unsure whether they have the common cold or the flu, you might want to stay away from that scenario or setting so that you don't inadvertently catch the virus.
So how should students handle academics and responsibilities if they do contract the flu?
So if a student does end up with getting the flu or an infection, they should take care of themselves first. What they can always do is go to the University Health Center and also go speak to the Office of Student Disability and let them know that they have seen a doctor and they're suffering from this infection. And usually all faculty members get a notice from the Office of Student Disability that says, please excuse the student, they had this infection. And that, at least that way, that gives the student the opportunity to get better first and then go back and make up all the work that they may have missed.
Now, are there any treatments for influenza?
Absolutely. So preventive measure is, of course, getting the vaccine, and we at NSU offer the vaccine. So the NSU's pharmacy has vaccinations available to all faculty, students, staff, everyone. Anyone can just go into the clinic and you can get the vaccine. And they are available right now. If you don't get the vaccine and you unfortunately end up getting influenza, then yes, influenza does have treatments available. There are good treatments available, so they're referred to as an antiviral agent, but you'd have to go see a physician and they can prescribe that for you to help you recover faster than if you just didn't take anything.
Do you have any last thoughts?
My last thoughts would be, ideally, just get the vaccine. That way you can protect yourself and prevent even getting the flu.
Thank you, Dr. Raja.
Thank you, Madison.
This has been the Mako Media Health Update. I'm Madison Casper. See you next time.
Thank you, Madison. You know, Mia, midterms are coming up, and staying healthy this flu season is going to be challenging.
I agree, Pablo. With the new tips and suggestions we received from Dr. Raja, I feel like we can have a stronger grip to our health this year. Up next, I have Bryce Johnson, Editor-in-Chief for The Current, joining me to discuss the current news regarding President Hanbury stepping down in 2025. Welcome, Bryce.
Hi, Mia. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, you sat down with the president to discuss his latest statement. How was it?
It was nice. I learned that President Hanbury is stepping down as president in January 2025. And I also learned that Dr. Moon, the current vice president, will become president after him.
And what can we expect with the new president?
Dr. Moon is hoping to develop a dental college and a cancer center, more housing options for students, and he's hoping that this university will become R1.
So tell me, Bryce, is there anything interesting you learned when you sat down with the president?
Yes, I learned that Dr. Hanbury is developing a new book about his role as a leader. And I learned that he's on chapter 5 and he's hoping to have it done by July.
So Bryce, President Hanbury isn't entirely stepping out of the NSU community. What is his new role?
His new role will be Chancellor of the new Institute of Leadership, Citizenship, and International Affairs.
Thank you, Bryce.
Thank you.
Up next, we have Gilda's annual Race for Hope that took place at the Alvin Sherman Library. My co-anchor Pablo was on the scene. Let's take a look.
Gilda's Club South Florida held a Race for Hope here at NSU, and Franklin Gay, a NSU alum in the NBA program, tells us what the race meant to him.
I had two grandfathers who had cancer and they actually passed, and last year I ran the race and I actually came in first place, and so I was able to dedicate that run to my grandfather who passed and my other grandfather who at the time was fighting cancer.
In the moments before the race, there was dancing, warm-up, and future encouragement from the president and CEO of the Gilda's Club.
It doesn't take a whole lot to do something good for other people in your community. So get involved. Pick up the phone, call us up. There's lots of different ways you can help.
Many people arrived in teams to support the Gilda's Race for Hope here at NSU. Each team tried their best to achieve first place. Many runners went and came back bright with colors and expressed the importance behind this community event.
We're here to support the cancer research with NSU and all the local communities around it. We want to support this cause for people around us, and we want to make sure that we get the word out for people to come out.
All money raised for Gilda's Club South Florida help cancer patients as well as their families provide for them a community of hope. My name is Pablo Carrillo with Mako TV.
Thank you, Pablo. How was it?
Well, Mia, it was inspiring to see the runners go to support a cause, and to see all of them just try to achieve first place. It was just a really good experience.
That's awesome to hear. Let's get ready to hear the NSU sports updates.
We have Santi Finochietto here in the studio to discuss the latest on sports. Welcome, Santi.
Hello, Pablo. Thank you for having me. This past Wednesday, the NSU women's soccer team crushed Palm Beach Atlantic after a solid 6-0 victory. Now, the Sharks hold an unbeaten 8-0-1 record with only 4 SSC matchups left. We had the pleasure to talk to some players of the NSU women's soccer team. With only 4 SSC matchups left and so far an unbeaten record, the NSU women's soccer team spared every effort to conquer this 2023 season. The Sharks, currently ranked 18th nationally in the NCAA Division II, think of just one thing and one thing only.
Win. That's the only thing that I can say. That's what we're looking for, that's what we were working for, and that's what we won.
Luana Gravias, former SSC player and Offensive Player of the Year, left no doubt where's the team's focus this year.
We're not worried about the other teams. We are worried about us because we know how good we are and how we can win against any team. We are our own focus. If we play how we know how we can play, no one can beat us.
Accumulating 8 wins and a tie, the Sharks scored on 27 occasions, making themselves the lead scorers of the Sunshine State Conference.
We are incredibly good at keeping the ball within the team because our coaching staff have a great idea of how they want to play soccer, and they manage to convey that to the players very well. But this year we have received some incredibly talented players that are super dangerous when it comes to the attacking and the offensive part of the game.
According to team captain Saga Bjorling, the performance seems to be the product of not only the effective execution of a game style, but also the team's commitment to succeed.
We are not just a bunch of individuals running around to prove ourselves. We're working for each other, and anyone on the team would go above and beyond to help a teammate out and work as hard as possible for the commonly set goals.
Next Wednesday, on senior night, the Sharks face Eckerd College at the NSU Soccer Stadium at 7 p.m. I'm Santi Finochietto for Mako TV.
Wow, Santi, it's really interesting to see a closer look on the dedication of the women's soccer team. What can we expect from other sports teams?
This weekend, our women's and men's swimming and diving teams visit FIU for the FYR Fall Classics starting at 4 p.m.
Thank you, Santi, for giving us the latest news on sports.
Thank you for having me.
Voting season is near, and we take a closer look at how our Sharks are feeling about it. Our reporter Rachel Taylor has the story.
Debate season has started for the 2024 presidential election, and I'm here asking our Sharks why voting matters to them. Why do you think it's important as college students that we do vote and get involved in that process?
I think it's really important because we are the next generation. We're going to be living in this world. I think that we should have a say and a direction in what is going to be a big part of our lives.
We are kind of like getting older and everything, and we are kind of shaping the future of what our country is going to look like. So I definitely think it's important for us to vote and making our voices heard and, you know, just making sure that we're doing our civic duty.
Do you think it's important, and why do you think it's important as college students that we vote and that we get involved in the process?
I think it's pretty important because it could help our student debt.
I feel like it's important to vote and get involved because if we're given the opportunity to make a difference, you should always be open to have an opinion towards society.
I think that if
there was like an organization here on campus that could offer, actual education on that, we could reduce voter complacency and actually get like good youth representation, especially from college students.
A lot of the future, especially from politicians, will affect us primarily instead of older generations. And it's just important too as a civic duty. If you're not representing yourself, there's no one to be represented.
Why do you think it's important as a college student that we do vote and that we get involved in the process?
I think that it's important because we all have different views and we can't trust other people to vote what's best for us. The point of a democracy is for us to vote what is best for us in our own self-interest, and we can't depend on other people to do it.
We encourage all Sharks to check your registration status so that your vote counts. I'm Rachel Taylor with Mako TV.
Thank you, Rachel. That is all for this week's episode on Mako TV. You can catch our solo release videos on our YouTube at Mako Television.
You can also follow us on Instagram at NSU_Mako TV.
Thank you for watching. See you next time.
Go Sharks!